Welcome back to another edition of Miami Cycling. Today we have the Miami Prix Race Series 1. This is a multiple race series that's happening throughout the spring and I believe into the early summer. The first few races are going to happen every 2 weeks and then they kind of get spread out because there's a few other race series mixed in. Basic information about this course: it's at El Hueco, which is Miami's most notorious crit circuit. It's 4 corners. You can hit these turns really fast and pedal through them. The average speed of these races, even in Cat 4-5, are right around 27 miles an hour, so everybody's flying. The field's pretty big. I think they allow up to 70 riders in Cat 4-5, and we were at capacity today. We'll just take you through a lap or two in the first few minutes here to get you acquainted with what's going on here on this course. I spent the first 10 or so minutes up front duking it out because there's usually a lot of attacks to start the race, and occasionally if a couple strong guys get away, that's the race, because it's tough for the peloton sometimes to get it together because there's so many individual riders. So I spent some time up front just making sure nobody super strong got away, nobody that was going to disrupt the pace or disrupt the race at all. Covered some attacks, and then when it settled down, I kind of went to the back for a little bit of recovery, and then towards the end of the race, I again went back to do a little bit of work for my teammates. They wanted the race to end in a sprint. Racing today with us was Jhony, Jake, Lazzy, and Santi. Didn't see a whole lot of Lazzy and Santi during the race. I know Lazzy made it up to the front to cover an attack at one point, but I think he was kind of just scoping things out from the back. It was only like his third criterium, I think, so he's still kind of just learning how things go and what to do and when to do it. Santi was pretty quiet the whole race. I went to the back and kind of said, "Hey man, only 6 laps to go, you better get up to the front," and then I moved up to the front to give one last big effort, and then I got out of there so the sprinters could do their work. So here we go. Got an attack going up the road, and just again, I'm kind of sitting here in the front, probably working a little bit harder than I should be, probably a little bit harder than what my coach would like. I think I averaged about 310 watts for the first 2 laps. Each lap's a little over a mile, but I don't know. I was feeling pretty strong today. This course doesn't really beat me up so much like the Piccolo course does from the previous couple races. It's not quite as hitting the brakes through the turns and getting on the gas. This is more just, I don't know, it's more of just a full gas race. So I think these guys are kind of letting me fry a little bit up here, and I'm paying for it. So I try to get across over here and get on this train, and this is kind of how it plays out for the first bit of this race. It's just, here comes an attack, here comes another attack, follow it. I'm sure all of you that are familiar with crit racing have dealt with the same. So that's really how this first part of the race plays out. I'm gonna go ahead and let the video play for a little bit so you guys can check it out, and then I'm going to skip ahead to later in the race and give some more commentary. Here I go again in the front. It's probably not a good place for me to be. I was definitely pushing a little bit too much for probably my capabilities this early in the race, but it didn't end up hurting me too badly. There goes her buddy Brandon. He's trying to get out of the Cat 4-5 mess. He said he was going to try and do a couple breakaways before the race, but I think it's tough to get away and then go away solo when you still got a good 40 minutes left in the race, and he ends up getting pulled back. And you can see here, I'm just trying to get these people to stop following me. I want to get off the front so bad. They won't let me. Yeah, at this point in the race, I kind of checked over my shoulder and sensed that I was among the last wheels of this race. And again, it's not really a huge deal to be at the back of this race because it is just consistently fast. But a lot of people do start getting burned out as you get to the halfway part of the race, and you don't want to all of a sudden find yourself in the back and all of a sudden there's a gap that you didn't see up front, and then you've got to overcome that gap. So I kind of ended up making a little bit of work for myself to start making up some wheels here, which I quickly start doing throughout the race, and then I end up kind of heading back to the front again for a little bit, which I also did not want to be, but definitely better than in the back. You can see here another attack going up the road. But these kind of you're just not getting enough riders that are going away at the same time. Not enough strong guys today are going to chase to make a good group. So it was looking fairly obvious that by this point in the race it was going to end up being a sprint finish. Just not a whole lot of cohesiveness in any of the groups trying to get away. So I actually forgot about this part of the race. Maybe I just have a short memory. I don't know. But I guess I decide that I'm going to attack here. I don't even remember doing this. But I saw an opportunity, I guess, where things maybe weren't going that fast. Let's see, we're going 24 miles an hour. Like I said earlier, the pace is usually 27. It's a straightaway. So I decided to do a little attack right here, see if I can bridge up to this dude, see what he's got going on. The fairly strong attack, nothing too crazy, definitely in the VO2 max effort range for myself. And we go out for a little cruise. I look over my shoulder a couple times to see how far back the peloton is. They're not that far back, and just say honestly, I wasn't fully committed to it. I think we still had at least 20 minutes left in this race, and I knew once I got out there, I didn't have 20 minutes of a big effort to go. See another couple guys coming across, but by that time, the peloton's pretty much there. But honestly, this could have worked. That move could have worked, I think, if we could have taken 5 or 6 of these guys with us and just went. But didn't look like anybody there was fully committed either. So I went back to the back again, got recovered for the last part of the race. Just going to take you through the last couple pieces of the race here. Just doing some more work in the front. trying to make sure things are kept together for the squad to do a little sprint action at the end. Just doing just that here again on the front. End up right back where I am right now with a little bit over a lap to go. Get around the second to last turn here, and I pull up right before the bell lap. I was trying to get my teammates' attention. Jake and Jhony are kind of right up here on my left to see if I could get them to follow me up to the front, get them into good position. I don't think they heard me in time. I was kind of like, hey, yo, let's go. It's like right here. They didn't make it up to the front with me, but that's okay. I did end up getting Johnny's onboard footage, and we will get to see from his perspective the last lap of the race, because I bury myself right here getting through to the last lap. Ideally, it'd be cool to have a proper lead out and a little bit more motivation with teammates in the wheels, but I don't have eyes in the back of my head, and I didn't know they weren't following me. I thought they were. So I guess I am really doing the work of the whole peloton right now, but that's okay, because we get to the last lap, and this is where all hell breaks loose. The moves are starting to be made right here. People are going by. This isn't my race anymore, so I get the hell out of Dodge so I don't get tangled up in any crashes or any wrecks or anything like that, and stay safe so I can race again next race. But as you can see, everybody's ripping and roaring now. We're down to the last minute or so of this race. I'm going to skip ahead right now to Johnny's camera. Thank you, Jhony, for sharing. We get to see his perspective here in a second. And here we go. Jake is protecting Jhony right here. They're just coming through when I was getting past in the last clip. And honestly, I don't think I've ever seen Jake ride this hard. I don't know. Must be because his girlfriend just moved here. He's feeling some kind of way, because he really throws down a good effort right here and pulls Jhony all the way to the last turn. And I would say maybe being the first wheel in the last turn for a 600 to 800 meter sprint might not be the best position, but I would say it's probably the best position any of our teammates have been since we started racing together. So I'll let you bask in the glory here for a second of Mr. Go Fast Gilmore putting in some work. Look at this boy go. All right, here we go. This is coming up on the last turn. Jake's really putting in solid effort right here, working hard. This might be the hardest I've ever seen him work. Jake makes the turn and his work's done, and here comes Jhony out too wide and into the hole. It messed up his sprint a little bit. He had to restart it, he said. And look how long this straightaway is. I mean, this is monster stuff right here, to be able to make it from where he had to start this sprint with no wheel to follow or anything like that to get to the line. So he ends up just kind of dying here. But man, it was a great effort, guys. I'm really proud of you guys. That was some solid work and almost paid off today. Good job. Just want to make sure we touch on Sebastian, American Cycling, my coach. He wins the P123. I asked him for a commentary. He said, don't stop riding until you're done riding. That means finish the race and finish strong, which he did. It was an extra long sprint, so congratulations, coach. We're proud of you. And with that, that's the end of our coverage of this week's racing. I'll catch you again in 2 weeks when the next race happens.